If we are to understand Duryodhana, we must first understand that his story is not simply one of villainy or ambition. It is a story shaped by deep psychological unrest, a fire stoked by comparison, entitlement, and a fragile sense of self. Early in the Mahābhārata, Duryodhana becomes increasingly agitated after witnessing the prosperity of the Pāṇḍava. Their success in building the grand Maya Sabha, the Hall of Illusions, is not merely political. It is for him a personal humiliation. In the Hall of Illusions, the Maya Sabha, Duryodhana stumbles. What he sees is not just architecture, it is humiliation. The splendor, the admiration, the effortless dignity of the Pāṇḍava, all of it pierces him like a wound. Burning with envy, he confides in his uncle Shakuni. This is not theatrics. His sense of worth is fragile, defined only in comparison. He confides in his uncle Shakuni, saying, "When I saw all the blessed fortune of the Pāṇḍava, I burned with resentment. I cannot bear it. I shall enter fire, or drink poison, or drown myself, for I shall not be able to live." This is not an exaggerated statement. These are not idle threats. Duryodhana's despair appears repeatedly in the text whenever he feels outshone, outmaneuvered, or diminished. His identity is entangled with domination. He cannot imagine self-worth that isn't comparative. If someone else shines, he must fade. Shakuni attempts to counsel him, "You should not be jealous of Yudhishthira. The Pāṇḍava enjoy what they have earned through their own good fortune, but Duryodhana's anguish runs deeper. It is not just about what the Pāṇḍava have, it is about what he lacks in the face of their success. His despair turns quickly into a manipulative tactic. He threatens his father, Dhritarashtra, saying, "If you don't act, I will take my life." The king, torn and blind, both literally and morally, yields. The dice game is arranged. This pattern in Duryodhana repeats. His feelings of injury quickly escalate into destructive choices, not just for himself but for his entire lineage. The roots of this lie in his inability to separate another's rise from his own fall. To him, prosperity is a zero-sum game, but even after gaining land, power, and treasure, Duryodhana remains unsatisfied. He reaches for something he cannot name. Success for him is a wound that never closes. Desire becomes despair, not longing, but absence that can never be filled. Even when granted wealth or control, he remains unsatisfied. This is perhaps the most tragic element of his character, desire not as longing, but as a wound that never heals. An empty space no success can fill. His life is full of things, yet nothing fulfills. This is the tragedy of hollow desire, a kingdom outside but a void within. Duryodhana's despair is not just emotional, it is theatrical. At various points, he stages his sorrow as performance, using suicide threats as tools of control. But beneath the drama lies a genuine emptiness, one that no power or kingdom can soothe. His personality, shaped in part by Dhritarashtra's indulgence and emotional blindness, spirals into a state where he cannot feel joy without seeing others fall. Finally, his sorrow becomes performance. He collapses in the palace, eyes upward, hand on his chest, not only to suffer, but to be seen suffering. A lifetime spent trying to extinguish others' light, and still left in the dark. The Mahābhārata does not depict Duryodhana merely as a figure of villainy to be dismissed, but as an archetype, a reflective surface in which we may perceive our own psychological vulnerabilities. When envy becomes embedded as a survival strategy, and self-worth is constructed only in opposition to the success of others, the individual becomes bound to a comparative framework in which another's ascent, signifies one's own diminishment. Such a mindset fosters what psychology might describe as a chronic, self-reinforcing affective loop, an emotional state in which the perceived threat of others' success continuously reignites feelings of inadequacy and hostility. Duryodhana's downfall, therefore, is not reducible to the military defeat that ends his life. It is more accurately understood as the gradual and unremitting erosion of selfhood consumed by a desire that neither achieves resolution nor allows for rest.